the previous chats that I've been having, and I must say it's a lovely way to communicate, and I'm always grateful to my friend Armin for having set it up for me. And I still wonder at it, of course. So when I come to do the chats, again, to remind you that I'm basing it on the material that has been communicated to me and how it fits into my life. So I didn't deliberately yet talk about ourselves and the notions of higher self. Now, or what Shabakam describes more as oversoul. It's a common thing, and sometimes there's a bit of confusion with people as to either the whole notion of, say, guides and guardian angels, how they fit in with the idea of higher self. And is there indeed any conflict between them? Like if we're communicating with our guides, are we in some way ignoring our own higher selves? Now, first of all, if I may use the term oversoul for a while, the idea is this, that we are far greater beings than we appear to be. That the oversoul as such is the totality of what we are, and that because we lost our awareness of ourselves, because we separated ourselves from our own divine essence, that we had to try to find our way back, and that this is why the whole thing of planet Earth was designed to help us to do that. But it's like that as we progress, we build up what might be called a bank of, although bank might be an unfortunate term to use at the moment, but there's this whole reservoir, if you like, of experience, and that we continue to send out aspects of ourselves to build on that, so that would be the soul part of us coming into Earth, and then that the oversoul remaining in reserve, so that whatever we have built up in that reservoir, that it remains constant and intact, and what we can add to it by what we experience on Earth. But this is artificial because in a way there's no separation between them. Like there's the soul and the oversoul. It is an artificial distinction to try to understand it. But it's like the analogy that was used, but say you have, 50 eyes. One of them is damaged. So you put a mask, or you put something on the 49 good ones, so that they're you're not using them, and in order to allow the damaged one to find more strength, to find its way, so that it can take its place with the rest of them. So this is the sort of analogy of the soul going out on his journeys and then rejoining the oversoul with what has been added in terms of consciousness or awareness. And that this is essentially our higher selves. Now, our guides fit into this in that their purpose, what they want to do, is to help us to integrate more and more with our own higher selves or oversouls. So that this is why sometimes as we develop in our communication with our guides, that it becomes less and less obvious, and the more we integrate with our higher selves or oversouls, this becomes a sort of spontaneous communication. This is where the whole thing of the knowing comes in, the way that we get things coming to us, the hunches, all that sort of thing. That is all part of the cooperative effort, if you like, between our guides and our own higher selves. And that ultimately, of course, the idea is that the more and more that we integrate with our higher selves, that eventually we won't need any help from guides or so on. Now, this is not likely to happen while we're still here on Earth. It's more like it to be a development which comes later on. But essentially we're not going to be any different. Like the real us, what we are, what we represent to the world, that won't change except in a more expansive way, that we know truly ourselves, that we show our own magnificence, if I may use the word, as the beings that we are. And eventually, that as we reach the fullness of that, the fullness of what we are, that then we're totally in line with the whole universal scheme of things. We're able to tap in to whatever there is, to find out whatever it is that we want to find out. That we are then, if you like, back to what we had lost, and to being the totally free spirits, the totally aware spirits that we were once, and that we had lost our awareness of. So that then you can see, I hope, that there isn't really any conflict between the two, between the whole thing of guides and higher self or oversoul, that they're all working together in harmony, and at the same time too, that people who this is, I've come across this quite a lot, that people would be worried that having had obvious communication with their guides earlier on, that then they feel that they're not having the same type of communication. But I would tend to see that more, that they're more now integrating more with that higher self, and they can trust that and work with it in a spontaneous way. And that things don't have to come in a flash of lightning or anything like that, that it works, things work themselves through in a very natural and easy way. This can be a bit complicated. I hope I have tried to make it simple. There's a number of sessions on the whole area in the Grand Design books, but I have tried to simplify it, and I hope I have some. And thanks again for listening. Bye for now.